Welcome to the Modern Monk podcast. This is episode number 12. This is a special one today because we're giving life advice to our 18-year-old self. My name is Cormac Taylor. I'm here with Toby Chilva. How you doing, Tobes?
I'm feeling good. This is an exciting one.
This is exciting. This is a little different to what we usually do. I want to start with just giving an overview of what our lives looked like when we were 18 years old. So what was your life like, 18-year-old Toby?
18-year-old Toby is graduated from school in Canberra, living at home. He really wants to go on a gap year, but none of his mates do. So he's made the decision to go on a solo backpacking trip around Asia. His sisters went to Europe, so he said, I'm not doing that. I'm going to Asia. That was kind of the biggest part of my life for 18 was this 6 months of travel. And before that, during that, I also decided I'm going to move to Melbourne. When I got back, move cities, move out of home, move to Melbourne for uni, study Bachelor of Science. That rolled into COVID, which then rolled into college, living at residential college at uni. Continuing studies. That was a huge portion of that 18 to 21-year-old period was starting university. Moving cities. I mean, those are huge life events that are happening. Big solo 6 months gap year, move cities, move out of home, and 2 years of a uni degree. There's a whole lot of life and changes that happen to a person, and I definitely felt that I probably is one of the biggest periods of growth of my life. Biggest identity shifts, one of the biggest. A lot changes. You grow, you mature a lot physically, mentally. Your relationships are all changing. So it's an interesting point of reflection to be looking back at 18, 19, 20-year-old me and thinking, what little gems of advice would be useful to that guy?
Yeah, because that's interesting because there's obviously a big change in life when you leave school. It's been all very, very structured. And then you leave school and it's like, what the hell do you do now? Do that and then leave home, then move to a completely different city, have to make all new friends, have to do all the things that you didn't realize you have to do and that your parents probably did for you. Like, it's a big jump to do all that at once.
Yeah, it's the first kind of time you really get any ounce of choice about what your life is going to look like. Given that I basically chose to lock myself into a very routine path, but even still, that is a big choice. And like the moving out of home, not moving out of home, who are your friends going to be, where are you living? These are all big life choices that have huge impact on who you become, what experiences you have, what challenges you go through. So, give it to me. What was your 18-year-old self doing?
Yeah, well, similar to you, I finished school. I did not do a gap year. First year I decided, well, everyone goes to university, so I've got to go to university as well. I did my first year of uni at home. I grew up in Perth, west coast of Australia. So I did my first year there. This was 2020, so it was the start of COVID. Perth, WA was actually a good place to be because it was so isolated. Perth is the most isolated city in the world. So we actually didn't really have any COVID. We were in our own little bubble, which was cool. It was interesting. But it was very much, I am doing the same thing with the same people. You turn 18, you start drinking a lot. Was still playing a lot of video games because I was still living at home. I was still a child essentially. So it just turned into a little bit of doing absolutely nothing. I wasn't really studying much at uni. And then at the end of that year, I decided, all right, I kind of hate Perth right now. I need to move somewhere else. So I moved to Melbourne, just like you. Did the exact same thing. Thought, all right, let me switch my uni to Melbourne and move into college. So this is where I first met you, was at college. We lived with 300 other 18-year-olds in a little bubble during COVID again in Melbourne.
Dirty.
Yeah. It was a weird time. But yeah, it was very much party focused. I was at university, but not doing a lot of study. And it was very much just having a lot of fun. That was kind of what my life was like when I was 18 to 21.
Yeah, well, three kind of aspects of your life that I want to hear a little bit more about is like your relationship with academics, leaving school and then into uni, who you're spending most of your time with in that period, and like what social events or like hobbies are you really attracted to back then?
Okay, so first of all, with the academics, I thought you finish school, the pinnacle of everything is what is your final grade at school, and then after that you get into any university, you just pass and you get a job.
Yeah, everyone just gives you stickers.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't need to worry about university. I just need to pass it. That's fine. I'll do that. So my relationship with studying was very much, I'll do bare minimum and pass. I just got by on raw intelligence. Probably did the least amount of work of anyone who didn't fail. Like that was kind of my life in terms of the academics. The second was who I surround myself with.
Yeah.
So first year I was at home in Perth, all school friends. Didn't really make any friends outside of my school friends. And then when I moved to college, then it was all college friends. I didn't make a single friend at university. Like I spent 4 years at university, not a single friend came out of actually being at university. But obviously the people that you live with, I made some friendships there. What I came to realize in retrospect is that I made a lot of friends that were drinking buddies, right? People that you go and get pissed with, and that was about it. So that was the social side. And what was the last one?
Yeah, like hobbies. What interests, social events were you drawn to?
Well, through my whole childhood, I played a lot of soccer. That was a big focus of my life as a sport. And when I was 18, I played a season of soccer, and then that kind of stopped. And my hobbies was very much just drinking. It was like, that really was my hobby. It was like drinking with friends. I probably was drinking 3-4 times a week. I was still playing video games, especially first year out of uni, a little bit second and third year, but that was still very much my hobbies. To be honest, I didn't really have a lot of hobbies. It was like, you go out and get drunk, you're hungover for a day, you go out and get drunk, you're hungover for a day. And that was kind of my life for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, and I think that's a pretty relatable experience for a lot of people that go to uni, especially if you don't love your degree. Or you're happy with just like, you know, getting by. You just want to get the piece of paper. Like you're trying to maximize fun. You're trying to like have this experience, and you know, you're finally at this age now where you can drink and go to bars and go to clubs, and then you're in a new city and you're surrounded by a college with hundreds of other people that also want to do that and are also knocking on your door and saying, hey, come do it with me.
There's just always someone that will drink with you if you want to drink. So like that, it's just going to happen. It's bound to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, the little ecocosm of COVID as well, like that was us locked in with nothing else to do but drink. So I mean, that kicked us off to a high bar, I think.
Yeah. And towards the end of college, you left college after 1 year. We weren't particularly close at college, but I remember you messaging me and saying, do you want to join this touch rugby team? We're going to Perth to do a uni games. And I was like, I've never played touch before, but sure, this would be interesting. So we did that. And again, we made a lot of drinking friends. We probably drank more than my entire life in a week in Perth. Well, that's not true, but we drank an insane amount, and we had a lot more drinking buddies. It was a lot of drinking centered stuff. But I guess you could consider touch rugby a hobby, although it was more of an outlet to drink.
Yeah, it was a connection to then more people who were going to do fun things with.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, my relationship with those two things is a little bit different. I was definitely more academically focused. Coming out of school, then going into uni, I was definitely trying pretty freaking hard.
Yeah.
Going to all my lectures, like doing the study. Like a lot of I did a science degree, and to be honest, science was not any of my top subjects that got me the score that got me into science. So, I tried pretty hard. And that would took up a lot of my time, to be honest. There's a lot of contact hours at uni, so I couldn't really escape that. And yes, I surrounded myself with people. I mean, I attached myself to my girlfriend who I met like the first week of uni, like you land in a new city. And I met this girl, and like we started dating, and like that was like a huge part of my life. Like that was so many hours. I was definitely one of those people who was 18 to 21 that like attached to my girlfriend, like to my partner. It was like part of my identity. It's like who I was. So that was like who I was spending all my time with. And then, I mean, social events, it was all drinking. It was all centered around having the most fun, going out and drinking. It's hard to reflect back on that time and not just think about a lot of nighttime spent intoxicated.
But, it really was, wasn't it?
I mean, it's a period of life, I think.
Yeah.
It's a time and a place.
And hobbies was just all drinking.
Yeah.
So
I mean, coming from drinking now, I want to get some health advice for 18-year-old to 21-year-old Cormac.
Yeah. So I think this is the one area that between the two of us, we've probably maximized more than any other area of our life to this point is our health. I think we've figured out most of that.
Yeah, from then to now, it's been quite a journey.
Yeah. So we figured out a few things along the way. What I would say to 18-year-old Cormac is, don't worry about plant defense chemicals if you're drinking 24 beers that night. I was just really in the weeds with these weird diets, optimizing such ridiculous things, and then I would just get absolutely plastered. It's like, what are we actually focusing on here? One of our podcasts we did was about the 80-20 principle, doing the few things, the 20% of things that give you 80% of the results. I was not even interested in any of that. It was always about what are the weird niche diets I can do? What are the strange, bizarre things that I can do to my life to get these small little results, and then just completely ignore the massive elephant in the room.
Yeah.
That was obviously just a massive one. Another one is stop bulking, you idiot. I think we were both like this. I was a very skinny bloke growing up. I was very skinny because I played a lot of soccer, probably did a lot of cardio as a kid. Ate relatively healthy. Like our parents kind of understood what they were doing when it came to health. So, we wouldn't be eating garbage basically. And I was very skinny. And I was like, okay, I want to stop being skinny. So I just kept bulking. And what I've noticed is with your body, it takes quite a long time for your personal identity to change when your body changes. So for a long time, I still felt that I was a skinny person, even when I was kind of fat. I still had like that skinny person mentality. I have to keep bulking and getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Obviously, the whole point of this was to look better, but getting fatter makes you look worse. So it was pretty damn stupid. And I spent the whole year last year focusing on getting in pretty good shape. And I didn't bulk at all. I ran 6 marathons and I built more muscle than I did bulking. So I think that was a pretty dumb one as well. The other one was just do the 80-20s and then just have fun. This is not the time where you're like, if you're drinking a lot, like you're not optimizing your health, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, just make sure you get enough protein and go to the gym 4 days a week and just do those things consistently and just don't worry about the other stuff. Don't worry about not eating plants because they've got defense chemicals or, taping your mouth when you go to bed. Like, sure, I don't do the defense chemical thing, but I'll do some things that are a bit more optimizing now because I've eked out the 80-20s, but don't worry about all this crap. There's a few things that are going to make the big changes. The rest you can kind of not worry about. Like this is not a period where you're optimizing your health. You're kind of trying to have a bit of fun. So don't get in the weeds about that stuff.
Yeah, pick the low-hanging fruit whilst they don't climb the tree while you're also like cutting it down at the base.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. Like being super inconsistent in the gym and being a borderline alcoholic, and you're trying to optimize these weird things. Like, why don't we just be consistent in the gym and not be alcoholic? That'd be a great first step, or at least just be consistent in the gym.
Yeah.
So that would be what I would say to my 18-year-old self. Like, just do these few things, all right? You're still trying to have fun. Like, we don't need to be, I can't drink at all. Like,
abstain.
We're still trying to have fun here, but like, come on, let's get a few things right. But what advice would you give to yourself at 18 when it comes to health?
Yeah, I mean, a similar perspective to you. Like, this is in the period of life where I'm trying to have the best health ever. Like, you're 18 to 21, you're basically made of rubber and like magic. Like, you can just absolutely trash yourself and wake up fine and still be able to perform like relatively normally. The biggest thing for me is around thinking for myself, or kind of ridding myself of these food and health beliefs that have just been like downloaded into my brain from friends and family and like mainstream media. Like, for so long, I would just accept these things as facts that like just weren't true. Like, even just like the food pyramid, or like, oh, I have to eat like a diverse amount of vegetables. Like, that is a requirement for like being healthy. Yeah. It's like, okay, but never did I ever ask like, okay, why is that the case? Or like, what is the nutrients of this food?
Yeah.
Like, that was just a huge thing for me of just like, I never stopped to think about like, what am I putting into my body and like why? Like, I'm fortunate that my family was like a relatively like whole foods, like ingredients household. Like, our pantry didn't have much packaged food. They were cooking food and like we were preparing our own, meals, essentially not just grabbing things, which, set me off pretty well. But then I never took that next step, which I wish I did and could have very easily taken just by just asking myself the question of like, okay, well, why is that the case? Why is that true? Why am I doing this? Like for food, that was a huge one. For like overall health, yeah, it's just the low hanging fruit. Like just sleep when you need to sleep, and like respect that sometimes you do need to sleep. Something is better than nothing with exercise. Like, oh, I don't have time to do my 90-minute gym routine and hit 24 sets, so I'm just not going to go to the gym. Like, just go in there, do 5 sets of bench press, and then do the same with a different exercise the next week. Like, the doing something is infinitely better than just absolutely doing nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just low-hanging fruit. Like, the sleep, like that little bit of exercise, yeah, it's so infuriating a little bit to look back on how many days were wasted essentially of just like you could have put a tiny bit of amount of effort in and maintained or made so much progress. But
yeah,
that's how it goes.
Yeah, that's one of my big discoveries recently was that the gym doesn't care if you like being there or not. It just cares that you go.
Yeah.
Like I had the last month for running and for going to the gym, I was completely out of it. I wasn't thinking about it at all. But I still made pretty good progress. And I didn't enjoy going. I just did it. And I got basically the same progress as when I really loved it and I was super into it. The gym doesn't care. It doesn't care that you're really loving this set. You just kind of got to do it. And that's the big thing with consistency, which we talk about in every podcast, is it? Yeah, just do it consistently. You don't have to love it. Like, do the shitty workouts. If you don't have 90 minutes to do your routine, just do something. Because as you say, something is always going to be better than nothing.
Yeah, and I think just understanding that, like, yeah, you're not at the pinnacle of your health, like, in the middle of the week when you've been drinking for 2 nights, but there's still little things you can do that just will have a huge impact on like your next day. And yeah, just not really understanding like sleep, nutrition or exercise and not ever questioning that. That's probably the advice I'd say. Just like ask yourself like why, like do some Google searches as to like why you do the things you do. And you find the biggest unlock. The low hanging fruit is in your face if you just look for it.
And that's actually really important because we've seen the consequence of not asking why. So I won't get super specific, but a family member of yours has had some health problems that have come as a consequence of nutrient deficiencies. And this is a person that really, really cares about their health, eats all of these things because they're healthy foods, but clearly has never questioned, why am I eating these foods? Why are these foods healthy? And has been extremely strict on a lot of things, has been like absolutely dialed in, but just never questioned why, and has had some like pretty tough health problems as a consequence of that.
Yeah, like really bad stress fractures that like have taken over a year to get back to like a moderate level of exercise. And this is someone who was extremely fit, gymming, exercising, doing all these things. But yeah, they just have these underlying beliefs that aren't true, that just get downloaded from, from family and from like health magazines and from mainstream media that, I mean, the biggest one is, just like you have to eat a really diverse range of vegetables and they have to be like different colors and like take up this amount of your plate.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's maybe like okay general advice for like someone who just has like a plate of like chips for dinner. Like that would probably be like a good step. But they're at this level where they've optimized and they're thinking really hard about like nutrition, like protein content and all these things.
Yeah.
But they're still doing it with this wrong belief that it's a requirement that like I need lots of different vegetables. Like, well, have you looked at like why you need lots of different vegetables? Like, okay, because different vegetables have different nutrient profiles.
Yeah.
Okay, and then like which vegetables have are high in those nutrients? Okay, well I can just eat those and still cover what I need to cover in like 3 vegetables.
Yeah.
Like there's some that are just doing absolutely nothing, like not getting you towards your goal, not actually producing the outcome you want. You just believe that it is.
Yeah, it's just healthy. I remember when I told them, all right, I eat sweet potato, black beans, and broccoli, and that is it, and that gets me 85% of my nutrients for the day. It's like, why are you eating bok choy that you absolutely hate? Yeah. You're eating things you absolutely hate because they're healthy, but do you actually need them?
Yeah, and like those are that's the hardest thing. Like you gotta force myself to eat a freaking stir fry with bok choy in it. It's like, and it's not helping you do what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like there's these little low hanging fruits that I think the reason that maybe we didn't get to them and people don't get to them is because there's like an identity shift or like a belief change that has to happen for you to get to that point of realization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the questioning, super important one. So Okay, that's kind of our health side. I want to talk about the wealth. Like, what wealth advice would you give to your 18-year-old self?
Mine is super simple. It is invest in yourself, not in ETFs. Like, I got probably a little bit of advice from like my dad and some other people of like, oh, just put money away now and in 40 years, like it'll be like enough to retire on, and like you'll have this great big lump of money, like compound interest, like just start putting your money away now. And so like I did, because I had lots of money lying around from, I worked since I was 15 at a bakery. So, I had savings. And I realize now that I just wish that I'd invested in myself, because I have to live with myself, one, for the rest of that time. And investing in myself at 18 allows me to unlock so many doors for me earlier on. And like it's a realization decision I've come to now in my mid-20s that, okay, I don't want compound interest of my money just sitting there. I would rather invest it in myself, in knowledge, in experience, so that I can become the person I want to be. And then like money is attracted to that. You will be doing things you're passionate about that create wealth, but you've got to become that kind of person first. And that requires investment.
Yeah, and investing in things that are going to expand your skill set at any time is super valuable. Doing it at 18, wow.
Yeah.
Having a really strong skill set of things that are actually important, that is a superpower. And having that early, we always talk about the compounding effects of good decisions over time. If you have unlocked a certain skill set at a very early age, you can unlock compounding returns at a very large scale. You can unlock these returns a lot earlier in your life than you would be if you put it off and I put my money in the bank account and earn 5% interest, and in 200 years, I'll be a millionaire. Great.
Yeah, not great. And having the skill set at 18, like you say it's a superpower, it also feels like you have a superpower. Like you are so confident in yourself, you can do all of these things. People will ask you to do things for them, and like it just creates way more interesting life and experiences that you can then be a part of, and you can like interact with, you can contribute to, rather than like, oh, I'm just going to let my money like sit there and compound wealth so that when I'm so old that I can't really enjoy it, it'll be there. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm a little bit the opposite to you, because at 18, I didn't have a huge amount of savings.
Okay.
For me at 18, I would earn enough money to be able to live, but I never really understood the point in having a lot of excess money. I didn't really understand the point in working somewhere I hated and earning whatever, $20 an hour, if I know that eventually I'm going to earn so much more and get such a greater return out of my time. But what I would say to my 18-year-old self is, the reason that you have money, the purpose that money solves, is that it allows you to take risks over a long time horizon. So, for example, last year when I decided to quit my job, the reason I could do that is that I had enough savings where I could fail for 2 years and be fine. I could take risks over a long enough time where I think that it would be unreasonable to not achieve my goal. If I didn't have that money, I would not be able to do that. People who are, investing their money in stocks, as you say, the ETFs, like, you're getting a small return and that's great. But if you're not investing in your skill set, and if you're not using the money to take risks, which again is going to unlock a compounding effect over time, then your money is not really being well spent.
Yeah. Time buys you the opportunity to take risks. And I think the underlying belief that allows you to do that is that you believe that you can do great things. You can achieve this outcome. And like the ETF is like, oh, it's a guarantee. I'm going to get 7 to 10% return on this. I think why it's such useful advice is because it comes with that caveat of, okay, well, you believe in yourself that you can, dream big, you can achieve these things. So like invest in yourself, back yourself. But like, even if that's wrong and you fail, your life will be better because of it, and because you have tried. Like that experience of trying and failing and seeing it out, even if nothing works out and it's all horrible, will still be overall a better experience and better money spent in terms of you as a person and your life.
Yeah, and I think for the advice that we're both giving to ourselves at 18, it comes from a position of being confident that you will achieve something in the future. Because if you're truly confident that you're going to be able to, accumulate lots of wealth in the future, you're going to be able to achieve lots of things, then you would think, okay, well then why am I bothered? Why am I concerned about getting a 5% return on $2,000? I'd much rather buy the skills. I would much rather buy the freedom to take risk because I know that eventually it's going to pay off. If I'm actually confident in what I can do, then I'd be investing in myself rather than investing in a guarantee.
Yeah, and like you can think about this like a video game. Like at level 1, do you start just like slaying the level 1 boss over and over again and just stacking money in the bank? Or do you spend it upgrading your character so then you can go and fight bigger bosses and then give you bigger rewards?
Yeah.
Like obviously that is how you play every video game ever, and like life is the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the advice that I got, and I think a lot of people get, is just like stash your money away. You're gonna need it for a house deposit. You're gonna want it in 40 years. Like compound interest now. Like if you can save now. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all of this is really talking about risk, and I think for the average person, it may be decent advice, because if the average person who's going to work in a job and then essentially work in a career and never leave, and they're going to earn an amount of money every year that is not going to change by an appreciable amount, maybe 5 to 10% every year, then maybe it makes sense to stash your money. If you don't have any ambitions of changing paths at all, that might make sense retrospectively. But if you have a larger ambition for your life, which we both do, then it really doesn't make sense to do that.
I think even if you're in like you're in a career or you're in a profession where you're stuck in for the long haul and that's what you want, even upskilling, even slightly, just it makes you one of one rather than competing with everyone who has the same skill set. You can say like, oh, like, I'm also, have a communication skill that I can then apply to my, art. And so then I can also take other people's art and sell it to other people, or like, get grant money to do projects. Like the more you stack on these kind of universal skills, even if you are a professional in a career, just makes you stand out, makes you more valuable, which will then improve your career and your earnings alongside it, and probably mean you're doing more enjoyable work.
Yeah.
I mean, we've touched on health and wealth, and then there's only one more bucket here in our big 3 buckets, and that's relationships. So 18-year-old to 21-year-old Cormac, what relationship advice is he getting?
Okay, first of all, if you don't talk to girls, they won't talk to you. I had this belief for a very long time, and it probably came from fear. It's like, I'm afraid of rejection. I'm afraid of what this girl might say. So it was always like, let me wait until I'm really jacked, or let me wait until X, Y, and Z. Let me wait until I've improved myself in some way, and then I'll do it. But the reality is you can have all these things, but if you never talk to a girl, they're never going to talk back to you. Yeah. And I don't care how much you level up your character. Not many girls are actually going to approach you. Like I think there's this very big misunderstanding that you can level yourself up to a point where you can just levitate when you walk and women will just throw themselves at your feet. It's never going to happen. Yeah, eventually you're going to have to just talk to girls, right? So that was a huge one in terms of the girl side of things. And then also in terms of just the general relationships and friendships, it's hang around with people that are going to make you better. I definitely hung around with people that like drinking, and that made me want to drink more, right? And now that I don't really want to drink as much, it's like, but now every time I hang around with my friends, they all want me to drink. Mm-hmm. And that was a big problem that I had a few years ago. It's like, I no longer have this identity. And so there's a lot of friends that are doing things that I don't want to do. And if I keep hanging around with these people, then they're just going to drag me back to doing things I don't want to do. So hang around with the people that make you a better version of yourself.
Yeah, no, that's so important. And yeah, this is so true. Like you do have to be the initiator, especially like as a guy. Like if you're going to, no girl is making the moves, especially in that age category, like 18 to 21. And like, even if your character isn't that developed, like just being the kind of person that can make that move, like speaks volumes and brings you so much success, I think. Mm-hmm. All
right. What's your relationship advice to 18-year-old you? I'm sure this will be a bit different because you weren't single at 18.
No. So. Mine is to separate my identity from my relationships, to have a sense of identity that is like just me, not me with my friends, not me with my girlfriend, not me with my family, like have a sense of identity. I think that's something I really lacked for this whole period. I would attach my identity to my closest friends and to my girlfriend, and wasn't able to kind of see myself for who I was and what I wanted. I was entwined, and I purposefully entwined my life with these people, and especially with my girlfriend. And I think overall that had a negative impact on me. It slowed down my development, like emotionally and personally. And it brought me out of tune or out of alignment with who I was and what I wanted. And when you do that so early on, it has such downstream consequences for where you end up because of decisions that you've made. Yeah, like making these big life decisions 18, 21 when you're not doing it from like a sense of at least a little bit of like who you are and like what you want. Was pretty detrimental to me. I know it's hard like in this period to feel like you know who you are at all, but attaching yourself to other people then just means you're riding that wave of what they want even more. So
you're rolling the dice because you're assuming that that person is going to take you to where you want to go, but chances are it's probably not going to be the case if you're attaching yourself to your girlfriend or a group of friends, especially because the chances are that the friends and the girlfriend that you attract are going to be similar to who you are at that time.
Yeah.
Which means that if you want to be a different person to who you are right now, chances are they are like you right now. So they're just going to bring you to where you still are. They're not going to change you in any way. You're not going to improve in any way. So attaching your identity and your sense of self to other people, especially other people that you built relationships with currently, is probably not going to be that beneficial.
Yeah, and I mean, you keep saying probably not. I would say like 100% definitely. Like no one is going to take you to where you want to go, where you need to go in life. Like only you can do that. Only you can travel down that path. So if you're attaching your identity to someone too closely, you're just never going to be able to find that path and travel on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, right? Like it's easy to look back on now and give this advice, but you know, these are like big topics of life that we're talking about, and these are like big ideas that are tied with identity and beliefs. And they're all things that are developing and changing in this period for sure.
Yeah. All right. What was your biggest regret at 18 to 21, let's say? 18
to 21, I mean, I feel like it's all I'm harping on about now, but it's holding on to what became a toxic relationship with my girlfriend. We had a clear break at one point where things kind of broke off. It had reached its volcanic pinnacle. The fireworks were popping. And I kind of looking back, I had an opportunity there to like break away, to find myself, have a bit of solo time. But I think in this period of life, 18 to 21, I had this like, I need to fix people. I can fix people mentality. Yeah. Like I can take on your problems. I can change you. I can like make you better. And I want to be part of that kind of complex. Just a huge no. So yeah, looking back, like just realizing that was a toxic relationship and letting it go. And I think, being okay with being by myself, I guess. I mean, looking back, I don't think that I was the type of person that was scared of being alone. Like I did a solo backpacking trip at 18. But it is interesting to look back and you know, I did go back to that relationship even though it was poor to me. And I think it's because I'd entwined my identity so closely with this person that break, that disparity between being by myself and not being with them was probably a lot to grapple with at the time. And so it was easy for me to be like, oh, well, no, well, I can just fix everything that was wrong and like, let's do it again. And the other big one, I mean, there's only two here. The other big one was I basically gave up on my dreams. Like pretty early on when I was 18, I would say. And definitely like when I started uni at 19. I definitely before that time had a sense of like, oh, I'm going to be someone great. Like I think my parents kind of instilled in me. I had like a nice upbringing to where like I thought I was going to be great. Like I didn't really know what that was going to be or what it was going to look like, but I had a lot of self-confidence and like I thought I was like intelligent and like could do things. And then kind of like 18, 20, I was kind of just like signed myself up to, oh, well, I'm just like I'm one of many. I'm you know, just in the pack. I'm just going to take this path. I kind of gave up on doing anything super exciting. I kind of, was just going with the flow. And looking back, that was such a huge loss. And I'm so glad that I was able to like re-find that later in life. But yeah, a little bit of a regret for sure.
Well, I remember us having a conversation. You would have been maybe 21 and I was like, Toby, what is your plan for your life right now? Like, what do you want to do? What do you want to become? and you essentially said, well, I'm working at this company, I'm making $80,000 a year. Eventually I'll make $110,000 a year. And I don't know, my girlfriend might do something cool with her business, and yeah, we'll get married and get a house. And that was kind of the extent to your dreams, which when you think about your dreams now, there clearly was a period of time where you'd given up on a lot of that side of you, and that's obviously developed and come out again.
Yeah, and like it's interesting, even just like the demeanor of you when you were saying what I said was probably similar to how I said it. Like I said it probably kind of dejected, like, oh, I guess this is what's going to happen. It wasn't like, oh fuck, like this is what's going to happen, and then this, and like maybe this, and like there was no excitement in my eyes. There was no like, you know, fire in me. For anything, there was. I think you probably saw that how obvious it was that it probably really wasn't where I wanted myself to be. It was just kind of some decisions that had locked me down a path, and I was too scared to think about what the path could look like if I made some big changes.
And speaking of your relationship, you had an encounter with your partner this weekend. Do you want to tell us about that?
So this was like a 4-year relationship that we had from I was 19 to 23, 22, whatever it was, and I mean we didn't have the best break off. It wasn't particularly clean, but we hadn't seen each other in almost like 2 years now. Yeah, a year and a half. And yeah, last weekend we were running our marathon for January. Just running down the street and a car pulled up and thought nothing of it at the time, and then just like a finger got stuck out the window. And as your instant reaction was like, which one of our mates has like, stuck the finger up at us as they drove past, like, ha ha. And then like I put the picture together, oh, that dog looks familiar. Oh, that like blonde haired girl. Oh my God, that's my ex. And the first time I see her in 18 months, I'm copping the finger out the side of the car. So that was a funny one. I mean, I've moved past it. I'm not really affected by it. It was just funny scenario to be in.
It was just a hilarious interaction because that period in that marathon, it was very strange. So this would have been about 10 Ks in. You get a honk of the horn, this car pulls up, finger comes out, it's like, who's that? Oh shit, Toby, that's your ex.
Just crazy.
Yeah, and then probably 10 minutes later, Owen, our friend, we're squirting honey into our mouths as a carb source.
Great fueling strategy, by the way.
So I was eating over half a kilo of dates for the first 6 marathons, and I was like, it's got to change. Like, this is just horrendous. So we got on the honey. Thanks to you. You started doing it. And I was like, this is great. But anyway, he squirted the honey in his mouth and he started swallowing, or he started breathing. And he's just got a bunch of honey in his throat or in his lungs, and he's just coughing up. He's allergic to about basically
6
oxygen.
things. Yeah.
So we were like, he's probably having an allergic reaction.
Where's the EpiPen?
Yeah, so he was in a bad state. So that was a bit of a shock as well. This is probably 15 minutes after. And then 20 minutes after that, we see some smoke coming from the bushes and then a bit of crackling. Like, what's this? And we basically witnessed the start of a bushfire. And we had to call in the fire brigade. It was just a bizarre 30 minutes. A bit of a side tangent, but I just thought it was a very strange little period there.
Yeah, an absolute, just one of those wacky days. Like your friend, you see your ex for the first time, crazy experience. She throws a finger up at you. Your mate almost dies 20K, like 15K into a marathon, coughing his guts up. Like people stopped on the side of the road to be like, is this guy okay? Like he was hardly breathing, just and then we literally witnessed a bushfire starting and call the ambulance and see the fire brigade, see them show up and like hose it down and stop it. And this is like in the middle of Burnley on the Yarra, like a fire just starting. But
probably 2 kilometers from Melbourne City, on the river. It was just weird. Yeah. So that bit of a tangent, but I saw that as an interesting story to share. That was a strange little period.
It was a strange period, but yeah, okay, now we need to get back to your regrets. I'm sure there's a few here that we can touch on.
There probably was a few. I want to touch on one in particular, and that was gaming. This is probably a regret from age 21 to 12. Biggest regret in my life is like being a gamer. Especially when I was 18, it was probably when I was spending my most time gaming. I was big into, at that stage, it was FIFA. I remember every Thursday, the team of the week would come out, which is, these characters, these cards in an Ultimate Team would be released at 2 a.m. So at 2 a.m. on a Thursday night, I was in a PlayStation party chat with a bunch of friends, and we're waiting until the team of the week comes out at 2 a.m. And then obviously you don't go to bed when the team of the week comes out, so you're still playing for a couple hours after that. I was putting in probably, honestly, on average, maybe 5 hours a day.
There's pumping big numbers.
Big numbers.
Yeah.
I could have been fluent in a few languages if I had to replace that. But that was just a huge one because it consumes so much of your life. The thing about gaming is that gaming satiates a few different core desires we have in our life and numbs them. So for example, your desire for progress, if you're constantly leveling up fictional characters, you're constantly progressing, your brain can't tell the difference. You haven't evolved for video games. So it goes, oh, cool, you've just slayed 100 dragons, you've just fed your family 1,000 times. You're good, man. Relax. You don't need to do anything else.
You're
right?
at the top of the food chain.
Yeah. So it satiates the progress, but it also, top of the food chain, satiates the status part of you. You've gone, look at all this status I built. I'm now prestige master in Call of Duty, or I'm town hall 15 in Clash of Clans. Like
I'm rank X.
Yeah. Look at this status, right? Now I'm not going to pursue that either. And it's satiating all of these drives. Obviously, it's giving you a huge amount of dopamine. You're feeling amazing for sitting on your ass and moving your thumbs and yelling at people. But like it is a horrendous thing, in my opinion, to do with your time, and it really cooked my brain. And it also means you develop friends, because people give me this argument of, yeah, but I'm playing with my friends, I'm building relationships. Yes, but when you stop gaming, are they still your friends? When you stop drinking, are they still your friends, right? These are situational friendships based on a certain activity that you're doing, right? If I decided to be a junkie and shooting up in the street, I'd make friends doing that, right? I have my heroin buddies, okay? Like, you have your friends for certain behaviors.
I'd be there with you, Brandon. I'd follow you.
But like you have your relationships for doing certain behaviors, but are they still your friends when you're not doing those behaviors? Now, there's a few people that I gamed with that I'm still friends with now, but there's a lot that I'm not. And it's like, were they actually friendships? Were they your gaming buddies? Were they your drinking buddies?
Yeah.
So that was a big one, the gaming.
Yeah, and like I definitely, when I hear people talk about their upbringing, saying, "Oh, I never really touched gaming. Like it was just never a thing for them." I'm like, "Oh, you're lucky. You're lucky you never got drip fed the dopamine that is gaming. Like as a young kid, like yeah, it's so addicting, and it's so easy to just suck up so much of your life. And yeah, I never really had it put to me like that it rewards you in the progress and the status.
Yeah.
Thing, which just make you be like, okay, well, like then I don't need to do anything for me because that's being satisfied.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Exactly. Now, look, there's probably other regrets I've had, but what I want to say is, I wouldn't say drinking is a regret. Like, there's certain things that you have to understand. From our perspective now, we have different goals, but I wouldn't impart those goals on my 18-year-old self. I'm not saying stop having all this fun and start, you have to run a marathon every month and be learning these languages and stop drinking and build a business and all this. It's like, you're 18, right? You still got to have fun. So there's certain things that I don't regret. I don't do now, but I don't regret doing them in the past. It's very important to say, okay, for a lot of us, this is a time in your life where you have to have fun. And I get that. So there's certain things that I did that I don't do now, but I don't regret them.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Like it's a very exploratory period of life. Like you want to be trying new things and like pushing your limits. And like a big part of that is going to be like alcohol and like drugs in general. And it's such a huge part of especially Australian culture that you just miss out on so many fundamental things that are worth having. Like the detriment to your health of drinking for like in excess for that period of life is outweighed by all of the like socialization experience, like negative experiences as well as positive experiences, and just like general inclusion in like hanging out with people your age. And like you have to discover the downsides of it yourself and realize that like, okay, well, this is enough now, and come to that realization. Otherwise, at some point in your life, you're going to discover it. I would rather do that at 18 than when I'm 40, first discover alcohol and be like, sick, this is me for the next 20 years. Like, can you imagine? Yeah. It's a time and a place. And I'm the same, 18 to 21, like I don't regret drinking. Like sure, there was some nights where like I definitely drank too much or like whatever, but overall, I'm not going to tell my 18-year-old self to not drink.
Do you think that it's hard to say because we know that drinking is so bad for us, but was drinking even necessarily a net negative? Because the amount of social exposure we got, the amount of environments, the amount of people we got to surround ourselves with as a consequence of this drinking, like, do you actually think that in that time that was even a net negative?
The only reason that I don't see it as a net negative now is because you're never going to experience what that is like if at 18 you go straight into the, oh, I want to improve myself. I'm going to read lots of books. I'm going to like not go out drinking with my friends. I'm going to, start a business, or I'm going to, I want to start this project or like do something, different, which is probably really good for you as a person, but just means you detach from everyone else around you.
Yeah.
Like that's a great thing to do, but I'm really glad that I had a period of life, which was me going with the crowd, doing everything everyone else does, so that I could come to that realization by myself that okay, well, that's not what I want. And there's reasons that I want to pull myself away, do my own things.
Yeah.
And overall, you think about your life as a journey. It's not like a race to get to some destination. So now, I figured out, I think, where I want to be in 20 years. And that's pretty solid. I don't want to have that realization at 18 years old. The journey, the story is much better of me going through this arc of this period of, being an 18-year-old, drinking, doing dumb things, then coming to my own realization and then, changing my objectives, changing how I spend my time, investing more in myself. It's more of it's a more meaningful arc. It tells a better story. And I think that's a good indicator that it's the right decision.
Yeah. Yeah. And drinking doesn't inherently give you some sort of interpersonal social skills, but the exposure to a lot of people that comes as a consequence of those cultures is definitely beneficial. And when I look at certain people and it's like, okay, you're really smart and you're ambitious and you're all these things, but you're kind of socially autistic. And it's like, this is actually the biggest deficiency and this is the hardest one to fix.
Yeah.
Just the exposure to people and knowing how to communicate with people is such a valuable skill. And I actually think that around this age of 18, this is a great time to develop that and hone in on that. And you don't want to miss that opportunity because you decide to kind of bunker yourself down and socially isolate.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. You're going to need to be able to communicate with people effectively. So if you never get that socialization, you're just shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah,
long term for sure.
Yeah, so I worked in an accounting firm technically 2 years ago now, 2024. What you'll notice in any professional services, in any career that you can really have, most of this 9 to 5 jobs, at the bottom, you have to be good at your job. At the top, you have to be good with people. All of the partners, all the people at the top, they bring in work. They've built and developed relationships and they're able to bring in clients. They're not the ones writing the reports. They're not the ones doing the lab studies, right? They're not doing any of this stuff. They're reviewing work and they're bringing in clients by being able to communicate with people, develop relationships. It is the most valuable skill. And to try and avoid that, to try and be good at the things that the people at the bottom are doing, you're kind of missing the big picture here.
Yeah, and I have a great story for this. I was pretty lucky that I got lots of reinforcement early on to say oh, you're really confident, you're great at talking to people, you're great with people. So I kind of had that mentality. But yeah, when I got my job, my first proper job, 9 to 5 as a scientist, I'm in the lab performing experiments. And the next kind of level above that in the workplace was, almost like a team leader position, like a supervisor role. And I remember I was by far the youngest person in the team. The average age was mid to high 30s. And there I am at 21 and with less experience in the lab, in the field as everyone else. And when an opportunity came up to apply for the level up within the same team, I applied and I was successful. And the biggest piece of feedback was your interpersonal skills, your people skills are what make you valuable to this role. We don't need someone who's really good at the experiments to be the supervisor of other people who are really good at the experiments. We need someone who's good at managing conflict, good at, negotiating with people, good at communicating what's required. And that is just a direct example of okay, well, I was, younger than everyone, worse at the job than everyone, less experienced, but I had interpersonal skills and that's all they were looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's so valuable. I didn't have the amazing outcome of having good interpersonal skills, but I remember when I got rejected, I did an internship at a Big 4 firm. And afterwards they said to me, Look, you'd be really good at like the top end, like the interpersonal stuff, but you're just not good at this.
But put a laptop in front of you, bro, and you're trash.
Yeah, and I was like, well, fair enough. I basically did nothing the entire time, but like that's interesting to know. But yeah, it is such valuable skills to have. So don't socially isolate yourself in this period. I think that's the big takeaway.
Your next question should have been, great, so can I interview for CEO? When's that come available? Okay, 3 things you can do to improve your life as an 18-year-old right now.
Yep. Okay. First one, put down the entertainment. Right? If you can, get back to dopamine detoxing. When I was 17, my last year of school, I figured out what dopamine detoxing is. I did it for like 2 months. Got some really great results. I had a lot of ADHD symptoms. I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was 17. I did this and I realized, whoa, all this stuff's going away. I'm being productive. I'm doing so amazingly. And I kind of fell off and went back to my old ways. And if I had got back on that, I think it would have just unlocked so much. Because even though in this period you're trying to have fun, this doesn't take away from you having fun, right? When we think about what did we love most about when we were 18 and what do we regret most, you're never looking back at 18 and saying, the thing I loved the most was playing video games, was watching TikTok, because TikTok was new and exciting, right? Was binge watching TV shows. It's never that. You know, it was not doing the most philanthropic or amazing work. It was like, oh, I really enjoyed being around friends. I really enjoyed the social stuff I did. This acts as an enhancer for that, but it also unlocks a lot of time back where you go, well, maybe I could, just have my 90 minutes to go to the gym, or I could, actually do something useful. So definitely putting down the entertainment. If I could do that, I mean, I just think it's the biggest competitive advantage you can have over anyone. And if you can unlock it so early in your life, it's just a big, big unlock. Yep. The second one is getting obsessed with the gym. Now, don't get obsessed with the gym in a way that is stopping you from, being around friends and things like that. But the more you're obsessed with something, the more you kind of figure things out, the faster you figure things out. And I think I was in a position where I actually was quite into the gym, but I was still inconsistent. I wasn't doing it that well. But when I look at a lot of people who make big transformations in their life, the health is kind of always the start. It always starts with the health and then always develops in other ways. But I've always seen that being the catalyst for the change, is focusing on the health and improving the health. So I think getting obsessed with the gym, it kind of unlocks this self-improvement side of you where you're like, oh, I really like seeing how much my body is improving. What other aspects of my life can improve from this? So I think getting obsessed with the gym, or just getting obsessed with some sort of health-related thing, I think is a great thing.
Yep.
And then the last one is try to acquire genuinely useful skills. When I was 18, I went to uni to study a degree that I wasn't interested in because everyone else did it. I put myself 50 grand in debt to do that. These are not useful skills that I was learning. Do a survey, ask 100 people who've finished a university degree, ask them how many of it thought that was worth their money, ask them how many of it have used the information they've learned in university in their jobs to an amount that they wouldn't have otherwise learned on the job. 90% of people are saying this wasn't worth my money, I didn't really learn anything useful. Actually, rather than thinking, how useful is this piece of paper? Think, how can I make myself more useful? How can I acquire useful skills rather than just acquiring a piece of paper? I think that's the biggest issue that a lot of 18-year-olds have, or one of them at least, is going for that piece of paper, that degree, rather than going for trying to make yourself useful.
Yeah, and I think it touches back to where we started with the why question on that one. And like with the gym as well, I think I agree. You want to be obsessed to the point where you still want a gym hungover, but you're not so obsessed it's going to stop you drinking.
That is perfect. Yes.
Yeah, you want to love it and like be addicted to it, but it not take away from socialization or like make you like this person that just only does the gym and it's your whole personality. Yeah,
exactly.
No, those are great points. And yeah, putting down entertainment, just the biggest unlock possible. And like, the earlier the better, 100%.
I really want to show this year and document this year on my main channel how much you can enjoy life and have fun without the entertainment. Because I think when I look at dopamine detoxing or this productivity space, a lot of it is working and not having fun and not enjoying things. But I kind of want to show how this makes things more fun. Yeah. This allows you to do more fun things. It's not be productive, do lots of stuff, or have fun. It's like, do productive stuff, get a lot done, and have fun. And this unlocks that. Because I don't think when you look back on it, the TikTok was that fun or the gaming was that fun. Like, it's not fun compared to, going out, doing these experiences. It's not the same.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And like there's that little dip of enjoyment, where all the difficulty is when you remove the entertainment and like initially, start making progress in any new project or domain is like, well, that's not as good as instant dopamine from my screen. And like, that's the dip where everyone stops. But if you can detox from this dopamine and rewire your brain, then yeah, you hit that peak of like, oh, well, now I'm doing things that like I actually remember a week later and I enjoy them at the time and I can recall them as like enjoyable experiences.
Yeah.
And they're like progressing and like building on themselves. Like I'm able to do more exciting things and they're taking me more exciting places. Yeah, no, it's really cool. I'm glad you're on this journey.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And if you are 18 or if you're young, I think this is a big unlock. I think this allows you to have more fun and progress, because progressing, I think, is one of the most enjoyable things that you can do in your life. But I think we should have fun as well. And I think this allows you to do both.
Yeah, and I think you're right. This is like I don't see anyone out there that has this focus or that's doing both. Like it really does seem like you enter the productivity space and it's like, yeah, how can you make yourself more productive so that you can do more work, so that you can make more money? Like that is basically where it all goes, which is why it's so unappetizing to most people who aren't just like, oh, I want to make more money. Yeah, I'm really interested just to like, for you to document this period where you can unlock insane amounts of like lifestyle maxing level of experience and be able to make all this progress on like meaningful projects in your life.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so cool.
We're life maxing. So what are your 3 things that you could do today if you were 18, start all over again? What are the 3 things you would do?
I would say yes a lot more. And then I would, straight after that, define when I'm going to quit something, if I'm going to start it. And then I would give 100% of myself to that thing. Say yes more. You're 18, you need experience. You don't know where you should be going or what you should be doing because you haven't done enough things. You need to say yes. Even if like looking back, okay, I shouldn't have done that thing. You now know that that's what you shouldn't have done and you won't make that mistake again. Define when you're going to quit. A big one for me, because I was someone who had ingrained into me that you have to give 100% on something, you can't quit halfway. But if you never define like when is the point where you've given it a proper shot and it's okay to move on, you will invest way too much time going down something that you should have switched off earlier. And then give 100% up until that point. Don't just go around half-assing things, because you fuck around as much as you find out. Like that is a linear graph. So if you're only giving 50%, you're only going to find out 50%. And sometimes like the most important lessons are found in that 75 to 100% like effort range of like you're kind of pushing your limit and like, oh, you have some revelation. Mm-hmm. So like say yes more, define when enough is enough. And then until that point, give it 100%, like actually try. And like you will find yourself just like differentiating from everyone else in everything that you do just by actually trying 100% and like taking some risks, saying yes to some things that seem a little scary.
Yeah, no, saying yes is such an amazing one. The touch rugby example that I gave, I didn't say, well, I actually did say yes to a lot of things, but saying yes to touch rugby was a great one because I wasn't that interested in touch rugby. I never thought I wanted to play it. I thought it was a bit weird of a sport, to be honest, but I thought, this will be kind of fun. Let me just do this. And it was one of my greatest social outlets. It's how I became properly friends with you, became friends with Owen, how I developed a lot of great relationships, and was actually one of the social cores of my life was just saying yes to one little thing like that. And you never know what doors it does unlock for you.
Yeah, and like looking back, tell me like 3 things that you regret saying yes to. Like, pretty hard thing to do, like at that period of life. When did you say yes to something and then not at least get like some sort of like lesson from it that you're like, okay, that was actually like really useful to learn. Compared to like, think of all the things that you said no to that like could have been little paths you explored that were like interesting, continued on or didn't, but you learned something.
Yep. I also really liked your one about giving 100% because that's something that I didn't do. at anything when I was 18. I didn't give anything 100%. And it's like, well, why are you actually trying to do something? Like, do you actually want to get an outcome here, or are you just going through the motions? And a lot of what I was, especially at uni, I was giving 5%, 10%, and just going through the motions. And as you said, you figure things out quicker. If I was giving it 100%, I thought, oh, this is what my career looks like. This is what uni looks like. Oh, this sucks. I don't want to do this. At least I would have figured that out. Rather than just not really knowing what's going on and just slowly going through the motions and just spending all this time going down a path you don't like. At least if you give it 100%, you may realize it's not for you, because you'll realize what's the pinnacle of what it is, because you probably will reach it if you put 100% in.
Exactly.
Right? You would figure out, okay, this is the peak of what you could do if you did this. I don't want this. Great, I know that. Rather than putting in hardly any effort, taking a while, you have to put in a huge amount more effort and time to eventually get to the pinnacle, to eventually realize it's not what you want.
Yeah.
The feedback cycle becomes so much quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And like, you learn more about yourself, and like in general, you practice the skill of giving things 100%, which is like probably one of the best skills you can learn at 18. Is like actually just trying 100 or like close to 100% in anything. Like the more you can practice that skill, like will just do you wonders, because no one's trying anywhere close to 100%. So if you can just be good at that, then no matter what you do, you'll probably be better than most people.
Yeah, when I think about 18 years old, I don't think I knew anyone that was really giving it 100%.
Yeah.
Would be a big differentiator if you did do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of gems in there. Lots of we're gonna time travel now and drop this back in my 18-year-old self's laptop.
Yeah.
See what happens. Crazy to think what that would look like.
It would be weird to see. You'd be on a very different path, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, part of me doesn't want that to happen, because then it would probably change who I am.
Exactly.
Now. And I like who I am now and where I'm going. So everything happens like it's supposed to. But if you are 18 now, maybe there's some useful information here.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was part 1. We're going to do part 2, and we're going to talk about life advice for 21-year-old self.
Interesting to see what's going to change here.
It will be interesting, because I think 21 years old is definitely a very different part of your life. You kind of have moved on to that next stage. When you think about 18, it's kind of, I finished school, right? 21 for a lot of people is like, I
finished uni.
I'm actually just useless now. You don't realize how useless you are, I think, until you turn 21.
You're entering society, and there's a lot of things break.
Yeah. So that'll be part 2. If you want to watch that, then you can either join the Modern Monk community at school.com/Modern Monk, and you can watch it a month early, or you can watch it on YouTube or wherever you're watching this and see it a month late. Up to you.
Be a month early, I would say.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll see you then.